The mornings in La Jolla, the upscale residential area of San Diego, California, always began with gentle ocean breezes and the chirping of birds. Emily Harrison was brewing coffee for her husband Michael while gazing down at the Pacific Ocean through the large window. After 5 years of marriage, life in this luxurious mansion sometimes felt surreal. Michael was the heir to Elegant Cuisine, the high-end restaurant chain founded by his mother. This company, with 15 locations along the West Coast, was known as an established favorite among the upper class and tourists. After studying business in college, Michael gradually joined the management and now supported his mother as vice president. Emily had originally worked in marketing at an advertising agency in Los Angeles. She met Michael at a charity event held there, and after 2 years of dating, they married. After marriage, she became a full-time housewife, taking on the role of supporting her husband's business from behind the scenes. Her refined taste and social skills became important elements in maintaining the restaurant chain's upscale positioning. However, there was one major shadow over this seemingly perfect life. 3 years into their marriage, they still hadn't been able to have children. Emily went to a famous fertility clinic in San Diego twice a week. The test results showed no major problems, but pregnancy remained elusive. While Michael showed understanding on the surface, Emily didn't miss the occasional confused expressions that crossed his face. During this time, Emily's sister Sophia began visiting their home frequently. Sophia was a freelance designer with talent but unstable income. She always wore a bright, carefree smile and spoke casually with Michael. Emily worried about her sister and occasionally helped with her living expenses. The fact that Sophia lived alone in a Los Angeles apartment was one reason Emily continued to provide support. Their parents had died in a car accident when Sophia was 18, and Emily felt responsible as Sophia's only family member. Michael understood his wife's devotion to her sister and agreed to the financial assistance. Michael's mother Catherine was genuinely delighted with her son's marriage. She highly valued Emily's education and character, introducing her to the family as the perfect daughter-in-law. Catherine eagerly awaited the birth of grandchildren but never applied pressure. Rather, she cherished Emily like her own daughter, sometimes going shopping together or consulting about new restaurant menus. Emily's daily routine was regular. In the morning, she prepared her husband's breakfast, spent the morning on housework or helping with restaurant paperwork, and in the afternoon either went to the fertility clinic or enjoyed lunch with friends. In the evening, she prepared dinner to coincide with Michael's return home, and at night they watched TV or read together. On weekends, Sophia was often invited for dinner. While the younger sister envied the lavish lifestyle of the married couple, she never forgot to be grateful. Michael doted on his sister-in-law like a real sister, sometimes advising her about work or introducing design projects. Emily felt proud of her husband's kindness. However, Emily had recently noticed subtle changes in Michael's behavior. He checked his cell phone more frequently than before and sometimes went out for long periods. When Emily asked for reasons, he explained that he was busy preparing for a new store, but something didn't feel right. One night, Emily accidentally found a laptop left open on her husband's bedroom desk. Emily held her breath and looked at the laptop screen. In the midnight bedroom, only Michael's regular breathing broke the silence. The sender's name in the displayed email read of Sophia. Emily's hands were shaking, but curiosity overcame fear. She quietly clicked the mouse to open the email. "Michael, thank you for the wonderful time today. Being with you really makes me happy. It's a secret from Emily, but I hope our relationship can become deeper. Can we meet again tomorrow night at the usual place? With love, Sophia." Emily's heart nearly stopped. Her hands shook so much she could barely grip the mouse. This was not a work-related email. It was clearly content suggesting a personal and intimate relationship. Emily took a deep breath and decided to check other emails. Looking back through the inbox, emails from Sophia had been arriving frequently since a month ago. Initially, they contained content like, "Thank you for helping with work consultations," but gradually became more personal. And from last week, there were clearly romantic exchanges like those between lovers. "Last night was amazing. While Emily is exhausted from fertility treatments, we're building a new relationship. The time I spend with you is when I'm most relaxed. I haven't felt like a real husband and wife with Emily for a long time. I've fallen seriously in love with you. What should I do with these feelings? Emily felt nauseous. Her sister and husband had been building a relationship behind her back. Moreover, they had been using her fertility treatments to create time together. Tears welled up in Emily's eyes, but at the same time, cold anger rose from the depths of her heart. Checking the sent folder, she also found replies from Michael. Sophia, you're truly beautiful. Unlike Emily, being with you makes me regain confidence as a man. It's much more fun being with you than with a wife who can't have children. This weekend, while Emily is at the clinic, let's meet at the beach house. I want to spend time just the two of us. Emily slumped back in her chair. She had been betrayed by the husband she had trusted for 5 years and her sister, her only family member. Moreover, they had been using her most painful problem, infertility, to deepen their relationship. The next morning, Emily prepared breakfast as if nothing had happened. When Michael came downstairs, she greeted him with her usual smile. Good morning, honey. Did you sleep well? Yes, I slept soundly, Michael answered without hesitation. I might be a little late today. There's a meeting about the new store. Emily maintained her smile. I see, good luck with your hard work. After Michael left for work, Emily began to analyze the situation calmly. She could have confronted them emotionally, but that wouldn't accomplish anything. Rather, wasn't there a way to use this situation to her advantage? Emily decided to think strategically, using her marketing expertise. First, she needed to gather more evidence. She knew her husband's smartphone password, so she could check his message history while he was out. She also needed evidence of actual meetings with Sophia. In the afternoon, Emily contacted a private investigator. It was a trustworthy company she had previously used for competitive research in her marketing work. Ms. Harrison, it's been a while. What kind of requests do you have this time? Actually, I have a personal matter to consult about. I'd like you to investigate my husband's behavior, Emily explained calmly. I suspect an affair. The other party is my sister. The investigator couldn't hide his surprise. That's serious. What level of evidence do you need? Photos, audio, and video if possible. Please gather legally valid evidence. Also, please investigate if there have been any financial transactions. Understood. I think we can gather considerable information in about a week. That evening, Sophia suddenly visited. Emily welcomed her sister as usual. Sophia, what's wrong? This is so sudden. I have something to consult about. Sophia seemed more nervous than usual. I've been troubled about a romantic relationship recently. Emily's heart raced, but she didn't change her expression. A romantic relationship? Did you meet someone nice? Actually, he's married, Sophia looked down. He's very kind and understanding, but it's a complicated situation. Married? Emily pretended to be surprised. That's difficult. Does his wife know? No, not yet. But he says things aren't going well with his wife. Especially regarding children, Sophia looked up at her sister's face. I thought you would understand, so I came to consult with you. Emily took her sister's hand. Sophia, I want you to be happy, but relationships with married men are dangerous. Especially if the husband doesn't have children, his wife might become desperate. But he truly loves me. He says his relationship with his wife is just for appearances. Men often say that, Emily smiled gently. But reality isn't that simple. If his wife learned the truth, you might be the one who gets hurt the most. Sophia looked troubled. What do you think I should do? Take time to think about it. There's no need to make a hasty decision, Emily placed her hand on her sister's shoulder. Besides, if someone truly loves you, they should face you properly after getting divorced first. That night, when Michael came home, she didn't mention anything about her conversation with Sophia. Her husband also didn't ask any particular questions about his sister-in-law's visit. Emily admired their acting skills while burning with cold anger inside. The following week, the investigator gave his first report. Michael and Sophia were actually meeting about 3 times a week, spending time at luxury hotels and the beach house. It was also discovered that Michael was giving Sophia a considerable amount of cash every month. Should we continue more detailed investigation? Yes, please. Emily's voice was cold as ice. Please gather as much evidence as possible. And please also investigate their future plans. They might be talking about marriage. 2 weeks had passed since Emily learned of her husband and sister's betrayal, but she never showed her emotions. Rather, she acted more kindly than before, celebrating Michael's work success and continuing to give Sophia romantic advice. However, a plan for revenge was steadily taking shape in Emily's mind. Simply getting divorced wouldn't be enough. She needed them to fully taste the humiliation of having trampled on what she had built up over 5 years of marriage, and above all, the trust she had placed in her sister. After 3 weeks of investigation, Emily had decisive evidence of her husband and sister's affair. Photos, audio recordings, records of financial transactions, and even recordings of conversations where they discussed their future together. According to the investigator's report, Michael and Sophia were making concrete plans for divorce and remarriage, and they were planning to pressure Emily into divorce using her infertility as a reason. On Saturday afternoon, Emily was tending to herbs in the garden. The warm California sunshine felt pleasant, and the scent of lavender was carried on the wind. Then she heard car engines, and 2 cars parked toward the front entrance. One was Michael's BMW, the other was Sophia's red Mini Cooper. Emily removed her gardening gloves while preparing herself mentally. The time had finally come. The confession day they had planned. Emily took a deep breath and put on her usual gentle smile. "Oh, Michael. You're early today," Emily greeted her husband at the entrance. "Sophia is with you too. What's going on?" Michael was obviously nervous. Unlike his usual confident expression, sweat was beading on his forehead. "Emily, we need to talk. Could you sit down in the living room?" Sophia stood discreetly behind him, but her expression contained unmistakable excitement. She radiated the characteristic glow of a woman in early pregnancy, unconsciously placing her hand on her lower abdomen. Of course, Emily led the 3 of them to the living room. The afternoon light streaming through the large window beautifully illuminated the white sofa and cream-colored carpet. "Shall I make some tea?" "No, please sit down," Michael's voice was trembling. Emily sat in the designated chair and looked at her husband and sister. The 2 sat on the sofa holding hands, clearly showing they were in league together. Emily's heart was pounding, but her expression maintained perfect composure. Actually, Sophia began speaking. Her voice had a strange elation. "We have something important to tell you." "What is it?" Emily tilted her head. "I'm pregnant." Sophia put her hand on her stomach and smiled. 3 months along. Emily acted appropriately surprised. "Really? Congratulations, Sophia. Is it that married man you mentioned?" Sophia and Michael exchanged glances. Then Sophia spoke. "Actually, the father is Michael." Sophia's voice had a challenging tone. "We've been in love for over a year. And now we've been blessed with new life." Emily maintained perfect silence for several seconds. Then she slowly nodded. "I see. And?" Michael leaned forward. "Emily, we're serious. I love Sophia. I haven't felt like a real husband and wife with you for a long time. Especially with the children issue. So," Sophia continued, "I'm sorry, but could you hurry up and divorce us? We want to get married officially for this child's sake." Sophia's words clearly contained mockery. She wore a triumphant expression, as if clearing years of inferiority complex. "Right," Michael also got carried away. "You're infertile and useless now. There's no point staying with a woman who can't make children." Michael's face showed an ugly grin. As if he had removed the mask of the kind husband he had been playing for years, he revealed his true nature. Emily slowly stood up. Then, looking down at the 2 of them, she smiled quietly. That smile was beautiful but contained ice-cold coldness. Do you think you can get divorced? Emily's voice was calm, but its tone had an eerie confidence. There was a frightening stillness, like the composure of someone holding a secret weapon. Michael and Sophia's expressions changed instantly. Their triumphant smiles disappeared, replaced by confusion. What are you saying, Emily? Michael raised his voice. We're serious. You don't have any love as husband and wife anymore either. Love? Emily laughed softly. You want to talk about love, Michael? Emily began walking slowly around the living room. It was a calculated movement, like a predator circling its prey. Sophia, Emily looked at her sister. Do you really think he loves you? Or did he just want fresh stimulation? What are you saying, sister? Sophia's voice began to tremble. Michael seriously loves me. This child too. This child? Emily's smile deepened. Is it really Michael's child? Sophia's face went pale. What did you say? I know all about your social relationships. In these past 3 months, you've been meeting with several other men besides Michael, haven't you? Emily's voice had a devilish tone. A DNA test might yield interesting results. Actually, Emily didn't have concrete evidence about Sophia's other male relationships. However, seeing her sister's agitated expression, she was convinced she had hit the mark. Michael stared at Sophia. Sophia, is that true? No. Sophia desperately denied it. Sister is lying. This child is definitely yours. However, her voice lacked conviction. Michael's expression also changed to one filled with suspicion. Emily placed her hand on the sofa's armrest and looked down at the two of them. But you know, whoever the child's father is, that's not the real problem. Emily's voice became cold as ice. The real problem is that you think you can take something from me. What? Michael stood up. Sit down, Emily's voice had an overwhelming authority. The conversation isn't over yet. Michael unconsciously sat back down on the sofa. Sophia also trembled and moved closer to her husband. Divorce? Emily laughed elegantly. Why should I get divorced? I haven't done anything wrong. You two are the ones who did wrong. Emily walked to the window and gazed at the beautiful garden. Michael, you're truly foolish. This house, this lifestyle, the restaurant chain stocks, everything is our joint property, have you forgotten? Michael's face went pale. And Sophia, Emily turned around. You were my only family, so why did you betray me? Sophia's eyes filled with tears. Sister, Be quiet, Emily's voice became sharp. I know everything about your conversations, where you met, how much money you exchanged. Both their faces turned completely pale. And most importantly, Emily's smile became devilish. While you were deceiving me, I was recording your true selves. Emily placed a thick file on the coffee table. Photos, audio recordings, evidence of financial transactions, hotel receipts, everything is here. Michael and Sophia were completely speechless. Their triumphant expressions had completely vanished, replaced by colors of fear and despair. So, Emily smiled one last time. Let me ask again, do you think you can get divorced? Heavy silence flowed through the living room. Emily slowly opened the file. The motion was ritualistic, like the solemn moment before a judge reads a verdict. Michael and Sophia huddled together, trembling with fear. First, please look at this. Emily arranged several photos on the table. Your secret meetings at the beach house. The dates and times are also recorded. And these are surveillance camera footage from luxury hotels. The photos clearly showed Michael and Sophia walking hand in hand, kissing, and entering hotel rooms. Looking at the timestamps, they perfectly matched the times when Emily was at the fertility clinic. Next, Emily took out bank statements. Michael, these are records of you sending Sophia $5,000 every month. $60,000 over the past year. From our joint account. Michael's face turned ashen. Emily, that was I'll listen to explanations later. Emily gestured for him to stop. And this is the decisive blow. Emily took out a small recording device. When she pressed the play button, Michael and Sophia's voices could be heard clearly. Let's pressure Emily into divorce over the pregnancy issue. She's most concerned about not being able to have children, so she'll probably give up. But sister can be surprisingly stubborn. She might not agree to divorce easily. It's fine. In the worst case, if we claim mental anguish due to infertility, we can get divorced on favorable terms. Your pregnancy will be decisive evidence. Right. I feel bad for sister, but it can't be helped for our happiness. When the recording ended, death-like silence pervaded the living room. Michael and Sophia completely lost their words and just trembled. Wonderful plan, Emily clapped. But there was just one miscalculation. What was that? Sophia asked in a trembling voice. That I've known about you two for a year. Both showed expressions of shock. Yes, I've known everything from the beginning. Emily's voice had frightening stillness. From the day you first exchanged emails, I was aware of everything. That's impossible. Michael tried to stand up but was transfixed by Emily's gaze. Sit down. Emily's voice was cold as ice. The conversation isn't finished yet. Emily stood in the center of the living room and looked down at the two of them. Actually, I deliberately allowed your relationship. No, it would be more accurate to say I promoted it. What? Sophia's voice cracked. Sophia, when you began to show interest in Michael, I noticed. And I also noticed that Michael was starting to find his sister-in-law attractive. Emily smiled calmly. So I began creating time for just the two of you. No way, Michael gasped. I deliberately told Michael about my fertility treatment schedule and informed Sophia about my outings. I arranged an environment where you two could meet easily. The two were completely confused by Emily's confession. Why would you do such a thing? Sophia asked through tears. Simple. Emily's smile became devilish. To expose your true natures. Emily stood in front of the sofa. Michael, while you said you loved me, you were actually only interested in my assets and social status. And Sophia, while you said you cherished me as a sister, you were targeting my husband and my wealth. No, Emily, Michael desperately denied. I loved you. Loved? Emily scoffed. Do you call someone you love infertile and useless? Michael was speechless. And Sophia, Emily looked at her sister. You received $60,000 from me plus another $60,000 from Michael. A total of $120,000. That's impressive fraud. Sophia broke down crying. Sister, I'm sorry. I won't accept apologies. Emily's voice was cold as ice. Because this isn't over yet. Emily took out another file. Actually, this is the real reason I won't divorce. Opening the file revealed complex legal documents. Michael, you know how much your mother Catherine trusts me, don't you? Michael's face went pale. 3 years ago, Catherine entrusted me with 30% of the company's stocks. And 6 months ago, she changed her will to name me as the primary beneficiary. What? Michael said in a trembling voice. In other words, if you divorce me, you'll be completely cut off from your mother's company and her fortune. Emily's smile was full of victory. Catherine won't forgive a son who had an affair. Emily took out the final document. And this is the decisive blow. Our prenuptial agreement. If you have an affair, I receive all assets. Michael was completely devastated. There was no such contract. You signed it when you were drunk. You don't remember, but, Emily sneered, it's completely legally valid. Sophia stood up trembling. I'm leaving. I can't do this anymore. Where will you go? Emily asked. Have you forgotten that I was paying your apartment rent? Payments will stop tomorrow. Sophia's face turned completely pale. And Michael, Emily looked at her husband. I'll give you choices too. Choices? First, file for divorce. In that case, you'll be penniless, disowned by your mother, and evidence of the affair will be made public. Michael was trembling. Second, continue married life with me. However, from now on you'll be under my complete control. You can't go out even one step without my permission. Naturally, your relationship with Sophia ends completely. Michael tried to protest. There is no third choice, Emily smiled coldly. Now, which will you choose? Michael held his head. Whichever he chose, his life was over. I'll give you time to think carefully, Emily stood up. However, I want your answer by tonight. Emily looked at Sophia. And you. Never appear before me again. You are no longer my sister. Sophia left the house crying. Michael collapsed into his chair, holding his head and trembling. Emily stood by the window, gazing at the beautiful sunset. It was her complete victory. 6 months later, the Harrison mansion was enveloped in a completely different atmosphere than before. On the surface, the same luxurious lifestyle continued, but the family power dynamics had completely reversed. Michael ultimately chose the second option. Rather than becoming penniless and being disowned by his mother, he chose to live under Emily's control. He now lived a completely permission-based lifestyle with Emily. When going out, he reported destinations and return times, his cell phone history was regularly checked, and contact with friends was restricted. The heir to a business empire who had once been full of dignity now served his wife as an obedient husband. Michael, where is today's restaurant sales report? Emily asked elegantly while drinking coffee at the breakfast table. Yes, I'll prepare it immediately, Michael hurriedly organized his documents. His voice had none of its former confidence, and he constantly watched Emily's expressions. As Emily predicted, Catherine was furious when she learned of her son's affair. However, when Emily calmly explained the situation while showing evidence and proposed her son's rehabilitation rather than divorce, Catherine fully supported Emily's judgment. Emily, you're truly a wise woman, Catherine said when they discussed her son's punishment. Michael needed a wife like you. With your strict guidance, he can finally become an adult. Catherine requested that Emily become more deeply involved in company management, and Emily gained the title of vice president. Ironically, Michael now worked essentially as his wife's subordinate. Meanwhile, Sophia's situation was miserable. Cut off from Emily's financial support and evicted from her apartment, she was currently sleeping on friends' couches. The pregnancy issue also turned out to be another man's child, not Michael's, and that man also refused to take responsibility. Her work as a designer was also shut out from the industry due to Emily's influence. Emily didn't openly interfere, but through her high society connections, she quietly spread facts about Sophia's reputation. Information about the affair, financial fraud, and false pregnancy scandal quickly became rumors in the industry, and no clients commissioned work from Sophia. One day, Sophia called Emily. Sister, please. Could you give me just one more chance? I'm truly sorry. Emily answered calmly over the phone. Sophia, I have nothing more to say to you. You are no longer my sister. That's the path you chose. But we're blood-related sisters, aren't we? Blood relations don't make family, Emily's voice was quiet but firm. Trust and love make family. You destroyed that with your own hands. After hanging up, Emily went to the garden and thought while tending to the roses. The most important thing she learned in these 6 months was that true family is not built on blood relations, but on trust and mutual respect. Her relationship with Catherine had deepened even more than before. Her mother-in-law trusted Emily more than her own son and entrusted her with the company's future. The two shared lunch once a week, discussing business and life wisdom. Emily, you're exactly the daughter I wanted, Catherine said one day. We're not blood-related, but you're my true family. Michael, too, gradually found peace in his current situation, which he initially felt was humiliating. By leaving all decisions to Emily, he was freed from the pressure of responsibility and unexpectedly spent tranquil days. He came to truly recognize and respect Emily's intelligence and strength. As the beautiful sunset illuminated the garden, Emily smiled. This house now had true family bonds. Not those who betrayed based on blood relations, but people connected by trust and respect. And Emily was certain. This was the true form of family she had been seeking.